Okie dokie. Here we go again. Uh, I said to you I was going to talk to you about um, the two-party system and my opinion of it. But I got a few things to talk about first. I hope you don't mind. One is we just experienced about an hour ago a 5.1 earthquake, about 100 miles from here. Knocked some stuff off the shelves here. Got some things upset a lot of people. Everybody was running around. The dogs are all upset and barking and everything. But it all works out. I mean, it wasn't. I've experienced worse than that here, worse shaking than that since I've lived here. It's just that when you're on the 10th story of an 11-story building, it tends to sway a little bit, and that can get a little scary sometimes. Okay, that was that. And then we should talk about what the Trumpster went to the CPAC thing on Sunday and sat there and said he wants to do away with mail-in voting and independent judges to settle election disputes. In other words, he wants to turn America into I don't know, some sort of dictatorship where he's the man in control and you can't say no to him. I told you he admires Kim and everything. So anyhow, those are the things that happened before I get to what I have to say. And then some of it's in conjunction with that. I mean, Trump is part of the reason that the two-party system is ineffective right now. That means that what I'm saying is that you have two parties essentially. You have the Republicans and the Democrats, liberals and conservatives, whatever you want to call each party, however you want to dictate to it. I don't much care what the parties stand for. When I vote because I like the guy and I study the guy and I see what he's done and as you could expect when you do something like that, there is absolutely no way that you can go vote for Donald Trump. So I didn't vote for him. The first time. And that was I voted for Hillary, and that was, believe me, that was the lesser of two evils because I think she's just as much a crook as he is. Maybe even more so. It's just that I don't think she would have gone around and done what he was doing. Um, Now, in the Republican Party within it is divided into two factions, if you would have it. The ones that believe in reality and the ones that believe whatever Trump tells them. That they say it's not. I'm sorry, I keep moving around. The chair keeps moving. It's not the. How to say this? It's not. What Trump does is that's so dangerous. It's what he says that's so dangerous. I mean, he's going around, and you have people that support him. You have people that support QAnon theories, and then you have people that are actually maybe want to do something. And they can't because they can't get. They're either afraid of Trump, or they're afraid of or they don't want to get involved in the split. They don't want to say something that's going to be ruin their political career. I mean, look at Mitch McConnell. Okay, he's the minority leader in the Senate. He's gone from pro-Trump to anti-Trump to pro-Trump. And he's praying. He's sitting there praying Trump just goes away by 2024. And unless I don't see that happening because his family's involved in this. They have to create this chaos within the party system, which prevents the Republicans from doing anything. That's if there was another party, it's like, okay, the people say, well, you have independents. Bernie Sanders is an independent that votes Democrat 99.9% of the time, but yet he claims to be an independent. He's not an independent. He's a Democrat. I don't. Say what you want to say, but that's what he is. He's not. He's not paying attention to anything. That's out there. he's got his own ideas, and then people say that socialism, and socialism isn't all that bad, depending on how it's controlled. I mean, you say that, and everybody goes, "Oh wow, look out, man, he's a communist." Communism is, I mean, even John Kennedy said it one time, and then some people say this is one of the reasons he got shot, was that he said it a couple of times that communism in its truest form might be a better form of government than democracy. Of course, naturally, communism doesn't exist in its true form, so we'll never know that. Communism is a dictatorship rather than the way it was designed. But you're I mean, I've asked people this about the political parties in the United States. I said, well, what do you do? She said, well, I vote Republican. Why? Well, I like what they stand for. Okay, what have they done for you? And I mean, these are people like me. They're not people that make 100, 2, 3, $400,000 a year. They're people like me. Work at gas stations, worked as mechanics, cleaned houses, whatever, tended bar, whatever. So they're not a good. Ooh, big thunderstorm rolling in now. This has been a very weird day around here. Somebody's upset with us. But you need to. I definitely lost my train of thought here. I'm sorry, but let's start a different one. Maybe I can remember what I'm saying. I know the Republicans or Democrats, people that are Republicans and Democrats that I know, the young people, don't really know what the party's policies are. A lot of them vote because, well, my parents were all Republicans and they've done good by them. Have they? Look, I don't know whether either party's ever done good by the workers in this country. I mean, they all claim they do. They all claim that they're for the worker. It's the little guy. Donald Trump was never for the little guy. All right. We'll get into that maybe today, maybe next time. But he was never for the little guy. He's for his friends, his rich friends, the elitists. You have to take a look at this. When you say elitist, what are you talking about? It's 1% of the country controls 70, 80 some odd percent of the wealth. And the other 99% of us divide the rest up. That's not right. We make the money for these companies, It's like the 15th, they want to say, well, they were going to do good by us, the Democrats, and they're going to give you a $15 minimum wage. Let me tell you, every time I've seen a minimum wage get raised, I've watched everything else go up, and within a week or two, it's like you get a raise at work. Within a week or two, it's gone. Prices go up. They do it down here all the time. They raise the minimum wage, and next thing you know, that there's everything's more expensive. Instead of saving money, you're still breaking even. They don't want the average person to save money. They don't want you to be debt free. If you're debt free, they're afraid of you. Both parties, not just the Republicans, both parties. They just don't want anybody to be debt free. It's I don't know why they consider it so dangerous, but they don't want. I think what it is that they don't want the uneducated people to have any influence on what's going on in the world. They don't want your opinion to mean anything. If you have money, your opinion means something. Not your education. Money. Money can make the dumbest person on the planet mean something. Okay. Look at the country of Venezuela. A bus driver became president. All right. That made absolutely no sense to me at the time, and it still makes no sense at the time. But he didn't have any money. Now he has. Now he's rich. He's raped the country. He's got bank accounts all over the world. It's like Chavez's daughters. They don't. It's worth over $2 billion. But if you're if you're rich and you're a Democrat, do you care that much about the working person? Do you really honestly believe that the little guy out there is worth saving? What's he going to do? You want him happy, first of all, so they'll work for you, so that your businesses have employees. Uh, that's why a lot of companies go into robotics. They don't want to deal with humans. You have to understand the cost of a human being working for you, especially if you're a union contract company. All right, you're paying that guy a wage, probably more than he deserves, because in unions you get promoted by seniority, not necessarily ability all the time. Depends on the contracts. But anyhow, in the private sector, if you start to make too much money, they fire you. You know, but the money situation is that if I give you $15 an hour, all right, that makes you happy and everything like that. But now I have to spend. I'm contributing to Social Security as your employer. I have to pay health benefits for you, which will go up because the people in the health industry are making more money now. So everything goes up. All right. So at the end of a year, you turn around and the savings that you were making in that first year with that extra money, which you don't, because poor people aren't finance experts. They go out and spend the money. They go buy a car. They go do something. All right. But go back to or get a better house, which is fine. I have no problem with that. That's an investment. You know, cars aren't an investment, but a house is an investment if you buy it, if it's not already falling down. Um, but you're so you have your health insurance goes up, the liability insurances all go up, everything goes up for the company. Now, say the company makes an item that they make a net profit on of 12%. That's a lot of money. Okay, don't think 12% is a little number. 12% as a net profit, that's a lot of money. Now, with all this going on, now they're down to like a 9% net profit. That's still a ton of money. But the guy at the top, he isn't taking a pay cut. None of those leaders are taking a pay cut. So now you got to raise everything up so that they're back to making that 9% net profit. Everybody says, well, that's inflation. I'm not definitely sure that if it happens all at once, it's inflationary. If it happens over a gradual period of time, it's not necessarily inflation. It's considered an adjustment in the economy. But $15 an hour, a lot of companies are paying that now. I mean, Walmart supposedly pays it, but then they dump full-time employees and with the part-time employees. Why? They use robotics. They use computers. I guess I was I'm going to say in my 40s, my early 40s, when I decided I was out of work and I needed a part-time job, and I went to work at the post office. And I went to a distribution center. Okay, I was looking to try and get a full-time gig, but I could only get this temporary assignment working for the post office in this distribution center. I worked on a machine that in the space of, I don't know, 5 hours or so, 6 hours, whatever, because it shut down for lunch, and they didn't run it all night because they had to get everything out to distribution. Over 375,000 pieces of mail. One man, me, by myself. I did that. Forget what else was going on. Okay, in the room. I distributed, sorted, got out to distribution points, 375,000 pieces of mail. It used to take 20 people to do that. I'm doing it on one machine. Now, the post office's barcoders and whatnot. And those machines got to the point where they're so efficient, they closed that distribution center down as a sorting center. It's not a sorting center. I think they still do distribution out of there, but they don't sort mail there anymore. They don't have to anymore. Now that's the same that's going on with every business. That's why, people sit around and say, well, Trump's going to bring jobs back. What jobs is he going to bring back? The auto industry is not coming. The auto industry is more automated now than it ever was. It's not coming back. All right, it's just not. It doesn't make sense for it to come back. All right, so the steel industry. Well, you use synthetic steels, and steel industry itself is becoming fully automated. Go buy a factory that was working, and that's the steel plant that's working, producing the same amount of steel as a steel plant that was working 20 years ago, and you'll find out instead of 1,000 employees, it has 10 a shift. All right, and they produce more steel in one shift than they did in 3 shifts. That's modernization. It's so the party divide, that one party's for the workers and one party's for big business, doesn't jive anymore. I mean, they're all for big business. They're all out for themselves. It's a legacy. The president is trying to leave some sort of legacy. The party, I don't know. The parties that the Republican Party, and these are where I had the figures. I mean, I'm sure there's Democrats in the same position, probably just as many Democrats in the same position. But I looked at Mitch McConnell. He came in with nothing. He's worth $8 million now in the bank. That's an American bank. That's taxable income. That's stuff that's whatever. That's not what he might have hidden in offshore or something like that. But he's worth $8 million now. He had nothing. And $8 million when you're not paying for anything is a lot of money. And these are people that tell you they're for the war. They don't care about us. They don't care about the little guy. Democrats don't care. Republicans don't care. The people that are shouting for Trump to come back don't care. Trump doesn't care. Trump wants to be president again so he can control the justice system, maybe stay out of jail, keep his family out of jail. Otherwise, they're all going to jail. I mean, if they don't have politics to back them up, politicians in control or that are sympathetic to them, that whole family's going to jail. Ivanka's already bailed out of the political end of it. She's going to try and salvage her business end. So we'll see what happens. But if you had a third party, you'd have I don't know what that would do. I really don't. We're supposed to have it. If we had a group of independent senators or congressmen in there that were truly independent, those guys would be the most powerful people in the government, because those guys would be the ones that decided the deal. I'm not sure how many. When you look at it, technically speaking, they say it's a 50-50 split, and it's not. Because Bernie Sanders is an independent. He's not a Democrat, he's not a Republican. Theoretically, he has the deciding vote, not Kamala Harris. He can decide a vote. I'm not sure how many other independents there are in the Congress and the Senate. I mean, people don't run as independents because it's so expensive to become a politician. You have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars behind you for television advertising and everything. Back in the early days, like when my first presidential remembrances are, besides FDR, who I only know him because I studied him a lot, but Eisenhower going around traveling the country by train and doing campaign stops across the country because they needed every vote they could get. Now, no, they go to certain states. The Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. These states with a ton of votes. These are called, they're called swing states because there's no predominant party in the state. So that when the election comes around, they're not sure who's going to get the vote, the Democrats or the Republicans, and they need those votes. But if you're talking about Rhode Island, nobody gives a shit about Rhode Island. Okay? They can say they care about Rhode Island all they want. They don't care about Rhode Island. They don't care about Delaware. That's where Biden lives. They don't care. Unless you got 20 or 30 more electoral college votes, they don't care about you. So you can win the election by winning 15 out of the 50 states or something like that. I mean, you don't have to win them all. Okay? You can lose the popular vote. I'm not sure if it was Nixon or Kennedy that one of those guys back then lost the popular vote, still got elected president because of the electoral college. That's when people realized, when they saw that, that's when people realized that you don't count. You don't mean anything. You know, where you can change things, where party affiliation may or may not mean anything is on a local level. You know, in your town, you can change things because an election can be won or lost by one vote. So there you can change things. It's easy to become a councilor. It doesn't cost you $10 million to become a city councilman or something like that. You know, so it's different than Congress or the Senate. I mean, that's just ridiculous amount of money. And look at the two-party system. And it's not just it's the term of the two-party system. A Republican gets elected. Now, Trump was so drastic that it's kind of difficult to compare this to other people, but he was so drastically different than the Democrats were because he hated Obama, you know, and that was everything Obama did. So he's trying to get rid of everything there. He went a little nuts on that. But you have the, I'm sorry, I'm choking to death here. But, oh God, I did it again. I'm getting really old. Something must be bothering me. Maybe that earthquake shook me up more than I thought. The Democrats and Republicans, as a two-party system, are in an ineffective form of government right now. All right, the Democrats, if they're in power, they'll spend. All right, if Biden isn't a one-term president, he has a little bit into his second year is in office. He's going to have to start worrying about getting reelected. And then so are the congressmen and the senators, whatnot. As they come up for re-election, they stop caring about you. They lie to your face. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Please. You know, I have a guy that I admired, and there's a politician, Bill Bradley. I would have voted for him in the presidency if he had actually gone out and run. He was going to run as an independent. I think he would have been the first independent to win. I think that's why they made him stop running. Anyhow, he got involved with the cable bill in New Jersey, you know, and it was going to be great. Everything's going to be better. You're going to have, don't worry, you're not going to be paying so much money. I think I was paying $12 at the time, or $14 or $17, something like that, at the time this was going through. And I was saying, oh, wow, yeah, this is great, you know. 9 years later, I'm paying $165, you know. Yeah, Bill, it did wonders, and I have no options. There's no place else for me to go. You know, down here, we have cable country companies up the kazoo. All of them suck. You basically you're paying for cable access, and then you go from there. You know, I watch a lot of stuff on cable. You know, I had to watch football on cable, at least on the internet this year, because the cable company wouldn't pay Fox's price for the NFL games, so I had to go out. And it didn't cost me; it cost me $30. Big deal. To me, it's not a big deal. To a Colombian on minimum wage, it's a huge deal. So they don't. They're stuck watching. They pretty much watch all Caracol programs and stuff like this, or RCN programs, which are the two main channels down here. Not the only, or local channels like Tele Antioquia, which deals with, and they're all owned and operated by friends of, if not directly, by Carlos Slim and the Guevara family and a couple other people, which are all hooked into organized crime and everything. I'll give you an example. At another time, we'll talk about what goes on there. But down here, there's a multiple party system. The only problem I have with that is the fights that break out in the Senate, in their Congress or their Senate. I mean, these guys, they're charging across the floor. They're going to kill each other. That's a little ridiculous. I don't. But again, you're dealing with elitists governing the poor people. Nothing's different. The only difference between a president and a king is that the president gets elected every 4 years. But they don't. They basically don't care about you. They don't. They sympathize with you. I mean, I think Biden's got a good heart, but he's a pragmatist. He knows he's not going to change the world. Would he change the world? I think so. Like I say, I think he's a pretty good guy, deep down inside. It's a shame that John McCain is dead right now, because I think that you would see some bipartisan products coming out, or at least a little bit. I mean, that there's this, like I said, there's this faction in the Republican Party now that's not going to let anything get done, by the Republican Party. I mean, they don't have much choice. If it gets through the House, they don't have much choice because they don't control this, but they're going to try to control the Senate. That goes back to Trump trying to ban mail-in voting and other things to restrict voting. I don't have much more to say. I'm getting confused. It's part of the problem of being old. I'm not that old. I don't know what's going on with me tonight, but we'll see. Maybe I've caught the COVID. I don't know. I'm getting hoarse too, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyhow, I'm going to be back next Monday, 7:00. I don't know. I would love to. I want to talk about something else, besides politics, because it's getting to the point that I don't want to talk about Donald Trump anymore. I want to see him go away. I've always said I want to see him arrested. I want to see handcuffs on that man. I don't think I ever will. It's a dream, and even old people have dreams, But I don't know what I'd like to talk about. But I go on. I make videos during the week and I post them. I've got like 64 of them up. Antoni And Fat's. The next one I think is volume 64. So you can go over there and check them out. The videos that are posted. I'm going to try and come back live. Like I said, I have a life. I don't know where I'll be. And if I'm going to be nutty like this and confused like this, I'm not going back. I don't have to make an idiot out of myself doing it. I could start drinking and make an idiot out of myself. I hope everybody that does listen to me or watch me likes what I say or do. Their opinions are not necessarily factually based opinions. They're opinions they grab from the various news agencies. I formulated an opinion and then I speak my mind. Hope it works out. Oh, anyhow, that's it. I'm done. Have a good night. Take care.